While Rich sets his flight instruments in autopilot for the trip to Northampton, we'll look out the window at downtown Boston. Right now you can see Boston City Hall and Faneuil Hall. Other points of interest coming into view is the State Capitol, Beacon Hill, and the Boston Common. Coming up is the State Street Bank, the Hancock Tower, and the Prudential Tower. Now coming into view is Fenway Park. You can see the light stanchions and some of the grandstand.
Hey Mike, looks like no game today. They must be out on the West Coast.
And below us lies some of the finest hospitals in the world. Deaconess, Beth Israel, and Brigham and Women's, just to name a few. We have been given a new routing by the controllers. Rich is making the necessary adjustments to the navigation equipment.
Hey Mike, right now we got rerouted by Boston, initially to go at 4,000 to Northampton, but they're having us climb up to 6,000 with a direct Northampton just to avoid the traffic coming into Logan.
Below us is the Quabbin Reservoir. The word Quabbin is a Nipmuc Indian word that roughly translates to the place or the meeting of many waters. And the deepest part of the Quabbin is 151 feet deep. And no, there is no church steeple still sticking above it.
Got a nice view of the Connecticut River, and which winds around Northampton Airport, as you can see when we come in for our landing.
And as Rich does his final checklist, he'll be turning downwind to base and then on to final for runway 14. Rich, what's that woman's voice we just heard through the audio panel?
That's collision avoidance. Is just telling us that we are no longer in radar coverage with Bradley. Yeah, this is the rewarding part, seeing the patient get back to his hometown, which I saved them about 8 hours today of traveling back and forth to Boston.
Now, how many times a month do you do this for him?
I bring this fellow twice a month.
Wow, that's good. That's really good. No, it's a great help to people.
Yeah, it does, and it makes you feel good, and it's also going for a good cause.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Keeps you flying.
Absolutely, that's great. Thanks. You find in your line of work, Richie, you have the time to be able to help people out like this?
Yeah, because I start at 4 in the morning. I'm usually out around 12, 1 o'clock. And I take on the flights in the afternoon. I kind of make sure that I'm home for about 5 because, you know, I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old at home. But whenever I can fit it in, I'll do it. Last year I did over 120 flights.
Wow.
And this year I think I'm up to about a good 80 so far.
Oh, that's really nice. Wife think about you doing these angel flights?
Oh, she enjoys it. You know, she thinks that it's a good thing to do. Sometimes, like anything else, she gets a little upset when I'm supposed to be home, and I guess the weather tied me up and supper's ready, but I'm not. But she understands.
That's great. Okay, we're rolling down runway 14 for the departure out of Northampton. We're going to be clearing that mountain, almost a direct shot to New Bedford. We're going to be passing Westover Air Force Base, which will be off to our right. Westover is the home to the C-5A heavy transport. Hopefully we'll get to see one today. And further on down, we'll be going over Providence and into New Bedford. And the mountain ahead of us is about 1,000 feet above sea level. It'll be no problem for us to clear it. And to the right is Westover Air Force Base. And here comes the C-5. The C-5 is so big, you can actually put 2 tractor-trailer trucks side by side inside. It usually carries several tanks on its journey to faraway locations. On board we have some of the latest technology out there. We have the Garmin 530, we have the MX20. These pieces of equipment will give you everything from communications, navigation, collision avoidance, charts, and even give you music when you need it. Hey look, almost a full moon. Cranberry bogs below are on fire. Here's a nice view of the Providence River in downtown Providence. As we zoom in on the State House, you can also see the Providence Place Mall and many other structures in the downtown area. In the distance, you can see the new 95 to 195 connectors that they have just recently built. As we're flying over the Seekonk Speedway, we're also keeping in mind that we are in Providence's airspace, and we have to be on the lookout for air traffic into Warwick's Green Airport. As we're passing over 195,